To introduce today's speaker, Taichi Ichikawa. He is the co-founder and CEO of World Road Inc. and the author of We Have a Dream, 201 Countries, 201 Dreams with Sustainable Development Goals. He will be joined for today's dialogue by Reiji Yamanaka, who is the Managing Director at KIBOW, a venture capitalist and, of course, GLOBIS faculty. So that's enough from me. We're going to jump into today's seminar in just a second. But before we do that, today's speaker has asked me to share a quick video that he has prepared. So allow me to do that now. And then once that is over, we're going to jump straight into today's seminar.
I'm standing here not only to represent my country, but I'm representing 201 voices from 201 countries.
We Have a Dream is an amazing testament of many young adults in 201 countries.
A book entitled We Have a Dream, 201 Countries, 201 Dreams with Sustainable Development Goals.
We always say that the future is in their hands, but this book allows us the opportunity to learn about the stories and how we can support them.
Hi, my name is Adela.
My name is Abrar Al-Kariuti.
My name is Noemi, and we have a dream.
We have a dream.
We have a dream.
We Have a Dream. This is an amazing book. You know, all these young people are changing the world.
Okay, thank you so much. And without further ado, let me now introduce today's speaker, Taichi. So Taichi, please take it away.
All right, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Hope you guys see it. Oh, thank you for the reaction. I love it. So my name is Taichi Ichikawa from Japan. I'm a CEO of World Road and the lead author of this book, We Have a Dream. So firstly, I want to thank Team GLOBIS for today's opportunity and all the audience for your valuable time and bringing positive vibe to this event. So I have prepared some slides, so allow me to have a few moments to share the screen. Let's see. Oops. Do you guys see it? All right, thank you. So for those who first heard about me and the book, allow me to introduce myself and then what I do. So my name is Taichi and I'm from Fukushima, Japan. Currently, I live in Tsukuba, it's about 1 hour from Tokyo. To explain who I am today, I'd like to share one piece of information with you. Have you heard about One Young World? Anyone? Okay, no. So if you have, so it's a global forum and it's also called Young Davos since it was declared to be held in the Davos Forum. My leadership story started from at this conference and I put the QR code to share the scholarship program to attend the summit. So rather than hear my story, I'd like you to get this information first and then catch the opportunity. And back to the introduction, I run an education company called World Road. I do 3 types of business. We create edutainment. It's a coined term that mixes education and entertainment. So we create educational content to turn learning into entertainment. Also, based on our 201 countries leaders network, we provide a global leadership program to schools, governments, and corporates. And then consulting works comes in on demand. I'd like to talk about today, it's not just it's the backstory of this book, since much of my work comes from this, sorry, the slide is not going there. So yes, I'm going to talk about the backstory of this book. And I started from one simple question: what is your dream? This question spread worldwide and then created a storybook. That is We Have a Dream. The book has been supported not only by young people, but also by leaders worldwide, including Nobel Peace Prize laureates, and also in Japan, the singer Ai has written a song for the book, the song that you guys have just heard about. And today's seminar is not a promotion of this book, because you can check the detailed work on the Instagram. Today, I know you all joined to hear why and how this book was made and what was learned from this creation. So there are more than 800 applications and life stories. So I will share my story with learning through over 800 life stories from all over the world. To explain that, I'd like to start with my own life journey. I was born and raised in a rural area of Japan, which is Fukushima. And my high school was public because there were fewer private schools than in the city. Therefore, what I'd like to share with you is the education that is widely provided in Japan in the public schools. So we are expected to study hard and engage in extracurricular activities in order to enrich our future lives. This is a basic philosophy of education in Japan. So I studied hard in this classroom and I chose to do kendo. It's a Japanese martial arts. And the picture in the corner is it's me, and in the center that is me. I shaved my hair. It is important to do it for unity. Anyway, so I studied hard and then tried to follow the educational philosophy as much as could. But one day a question came to my mind. What will my future be? So I went to the school's career guidance office to find out what I could expect in the future. Still, the place was full of books about getting high scores and how to get into the competitive universities. What I needed were role models and life designs that would help broaden my horizon and shift my focus from the present, which is all about scores, to the future. But that didn't exist at this school. In the third year, Japan's very competitive entrance exam began. It is a time when teachers, families, and students themselves became so desperate. There is even a word for it, war of examination. I tried my best to study hard, but the most important thing, purpose and the future of studying, was not on my study desk. However, not everything was terrible. During my difficult school life, I came across a book. This book was a collection of dreams of 47 high school students from 47 prefectures. It was a wonderful book. Some wrote about dreams similar to my own that I wanted to help contribute to the world. Someone wrote that they had no dream, but their dream was to find a dream. And it was a book that somehow helped me to feel friends and gave me confidence in my own voice. And this was actually one of the dots that connected to the lines that would later lead to this book, We Have a Dream. Then after entering university, I thought I needed to broaden my world and travel many countries, and participated in One Young World in 2014. This was when my story moved forward. I met a brilliant person who changed my life. Her name is Yeonmi Park, and she escaped from North Korea. At the age of 13, she escaped from North Korea because she was starving. When she tried to escape to China, her dad passed away, and her mom victimized herself to protect her. Her story on stage left me shocked. After her speech, I asked her why she could continue to fight for the North Korean people, even though her actions could put her so much risk in her life. But she simply answered, because this is something only she can do. Since then, one question has been stuck in my head. What is something only I can do? After that, my journey became all about finding my own passion. I went to an entertainment company called Amuse. It's a leading entertainment company in Japan. They offered me a job supporting the launch of new businesses. While working at Amuse, I became close with company chairman. His name is Mr. Osato, and he's the founder of Amuse and the pioneer of Japan's entertainment industry after World War II. He always asked me, "You got any idea?" At that time, I rarely had a good idea to share, but one lesson stayed with him. Everything starts with an idea. You can't make a better world without an idea. I had a great learning from him. After Amuse, I changed my job and entered to BL startup. But it was a turning point of my life. The company collapsed. So basically, I lost my job and then became a blank, just like this slide. As my personal side, it was when I got married. So it was horrible timing. You probably heard when human has extreme stress, their mouth goes completely dry, right? And it happened to me. I lost my motivation completely, so I went back to my hometown. Just sleeping and playing video games, no purpose, only stressed, and doing nothing, thinking it's ending. But the story I heard in life restored the reason I exist. I still exist on this earth. I wanted to support others and bring all the learning that I was given by the world back into the world. This was why I built my own company and created the book, We Have a Dream, to do what only I can do. I finally found something I am happy to risk my life. The lesson I got there was, so how many of you think it's hard to find what you really love? Okay, I think, all right, thank you so much. So do what you love. I often heard that, and then honestly, I felt tired of it back then because it sounds right, but it's hard to find. But the way I found it was what you naturally do when you don't want to do anything is actually what you love to do. So I brought notebook and wrote some ideas or things that excites me when I was doing nothing. Then I thought, that's it. This is what I want to do. Then I started my company. But when I started, there were so many struggles. I needed to gather people from all countries to create the book, but nobody knows me and the world doesn't know my project. But I had friends from One Young World. They really helped me to spread the project online to complete. One tip here is that when I attended One Young World or any type of network opportunity, I try to make friends rather than building a network. You need friends to make your dream happen because friends can make your dream be their dream. And another struggle was, even though friends helped me, there were still lack of regional connections. In my case, I had no connection with the Oceanian countries, so I messaged regional NGOs to recommend youth leaders, also messaged so many people through Facebook and any social media. There were too many messages, like literally 1,000, so my Facebook accounts often got locked. That's how much I sent messages. So it was like this. My WhatsApp, all Facebook accounts, it was in a mess. But throughout 1 year, I had nearly 800 applications. And honestly, all the dreams, all the stories were beautiful. But one thing that I noticed was that stories that reach people's hearts always have the phrase, I want, rather than I should. In fact, I have analyzed the data and the number of words in those applications, the words of wants has more than double. It's double than the should. So let's say I want to change the world, or I should change the world. Which one do you feel more energy inside you when you say it? People prefer to be with someone with energy. Also, when its energy is for others, the person becomes a leader. When I said I want to create this book for the next generation, more and more people said they want to make this book. And then it became, we want to make this book. So please start telling what you want to do rather than what you should do. Try let what you want be what we want. And especially when you tackle social issues, we tend to talk about what should be done. So bring your wants and connect it with social issues. That I believe how you can pass your kokorozashi to the others. After completing all countries, I saw the world being one small earth in a handy form. Sorry, I need to skip this. There are people who tried to apply even though they got coronavirus. There are people whose life was in danger because of political conflict around them, but they applied. All stories in this book describes the world that they hope to live in. So this is not just a book anymore, I see it. It's hope of the world. It shows tomorrow's world that is going to be passed to the next generation. So start telling the people the world you hope to live in so that together we can create the world we hope to live in. So that was my story. Now that I'd like to share some key findings from this project. So yeah, people are spreading the social media. I'd like to skip this here, and then I'm making the discovery documentary. So yeah, the key findings. So yes, one was already talked about. The global leaders use want rather than should. Next, I'd like to talk about difference between dreams and goals. This was one of the key findings. So what do you think this is? What do you think is the difference? Yeah, I have some thoughts, and I like to share with you what I have learned and being taught through my own production, the creation. So when you're listening to people with dreams and visions, you feel excited, right? I think that both the speaker and we the listeners are excited by the person's imagined view of the future. The difference, in my opinion, is that such a view of the future is a dream, and what is necessary to achieve it is a goal. This is a kind of the dream that people around the world talk about in the book. So one is a society where we can work with pride, and a world where we can sleep with our full stomach, and a world with a biodiversity. They have this view of the future. That is why they are working on improving job satisfaction, hunger issues, and the environmental issues. So all these SDGs. To put this in the context of the SDGs, the book uses the analogy of mountain climbing. You naturally set a goal when climb a mountain, right? Like a summit. And then this is because there is a view you want to see there. The view you want to see is your dream, and the summit or other destination is your goal. Summit itself is a goal, not a dream. And the SDGs are sustainable development goals, so it is a goal. So the interpretation here is that we think of the summit as a goal to be achieved in order to have a view that we want to see as a human race. When we hear about the SDGs, especially the corporate people, we often hear that the SDGs are difficult to understand. And then they say that these goals are too far away. And that they say also they don't understand them. In such cases, if this thing is happening in your team, please try to approach the SDGs from the view of what you would like to see. What's the kind of the world you want to see, or what kind of society we want to see in the future. So it's like going back to your original vision. Going back to your own dream, where you find common values within your team. So let me give you an example. One page has this dream. So she wants to create a world where everyone can realize their potential. That's her dream. And by the way, she is a representative of Finland. To create such a world, she focuses on energy and runs a social business of backpacks with solar panels. She wants to create a world where everyone can realize their potential. Because she has a view of that future, her compasses for 2030 is energy. So which is the number 7 of the SDGs. So she's looking farther into the future, even beyond 30 years, and then finding what is, 30 years, and finding what is for 30 years. In that sense, I don't call this book an SDGs book either, but I talk about it as a future book or a dream book. So what kind of view do you want to achieve? And what kind of goals do you want to achieve? So these are essential to define your goal and the dream together. So it's a combination of the vision and the SDGs. So if you follow the order of what you, your team, and your community are thinking about, the path will become clear. So if the conversation gets complicated in your team, please take a moment to return to the difference between the dreams and the goals. So I'd like to share my last learning. What is the common language of this world? Is it in English? For me, it's not. But oneness is the universal language that let us world talk together. So I'd like to share my story behind it, and allow me some more moments. So as I shared with you, when I attended One Young World, I met Yonmi. There was a little more after her speech. Her speech was only 5 minutes long, but people from all over the world gave her a standing ovation. When I left the venue, many people started discussion what they could do to help people like Yonmi, like the people who are suffering in North Korea. Although their English levels were different, there was an overwhelming sense of ownership of the issue facing other countries. So when I saw this, I realized what let their heart connect was not a language itself, but the sense of oneness. When people have a sense of oneness, even if it is in a broken English, they are able to talk to each other. I'm probably telling this, especially Japanese audience, but what matters is what makes a person a global leader is it is more than a language. It is the ability to have a sense of ownership of other countries' issue, which is the oneness. So that is what I'd like to pass around, especially next generation. There is a lot to be learned, especially from those involved in these issues. This is why I have started my own business and continue creating books, documentaries, and other educational content to gather the world. So I hope you all learned something from my story and find some takeaways. I'd like to end with my favorite quote from the One Young World. So this is my favorite phrase. The future is a contingent of now. So please create a better present while you're looking at the future. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Taichi. That was a fantastic presentation. Thank you for sharing that with us, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. The next part of today's seminar, we're going to be moving on to a dialogue. And for this dialogue, we're going to have Taichi. So I'm going to spotlight you now. And we're going to have Mr. Yamanaka join him. And they are going to conduct a short dialogue, after which we're going to move to the Q&A. So before we begin, Mr. Yamanaka, would you mind just giving a brief introduction, and then please take it away?
Okay. Thank you very much for the inspiring speech, Taichi. Let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Reiji Yamanaka. I'm teaching venture-related courses here at GLOBIS. And at the same time, I'm working as an investor, or I'm an impact investor, investing into social purpose startups, mainly in Japan, from KIBOW Foundation. And KIBOW spells K-I-B-O-W. It is a combined word of kibo in Japanese, which means hope, and rainbow. So it is a rainbow of hope. Our foundation was initially established in the year 2011 by Yoshi Hori, the president of GLOBIS, right after the disaster, the Great East Japan earthquake. Initially, the KIBOW Foundation was a disaster relief organization, but it expanded its role in the year 2015 to impact investing. So since then, we are investing into various social purpose startups. That's a brief introduction of myself. And I have many questions that I want to ask to you. But before that, I want to tell you that I'm really inspired by this book. I love this book.
Thank you.
And Taichi told us that, I really agree that this book enhances the sense of oneness of mankind, all the people across countries. And it can be a great gift for future generation, as well as our generation. One interesting question from the audience is that what is the most memorable answer or memory, not necessarily positive, you got when you asked the people, what is your dream? You already gave me the episode of Yeonmi of North Korea, but are there any other episode you remember when you created this book?
I remember every one of them. So I usually don't pick one as a favorite, but yeah, I often get this question. I remember. Okay, will talk about the India's dream today. So let me open the page for you.
But the one information for the audience is that this book can be used as a dictionary. Can you see this? It may be hard to see this, but you can pick up one SDG goal here. And if you want to see, for example, equal education, you can pick up the stories related to the equal education. So it is a dictionary, but not a dictionary for knowledge. It is a dictionary for getting stories and getting inspiration.
So India's page is this, and so she is a student, and then she currently live in New York, and then she sometimes work for United Nations as a part-time, and then so this already sounds like she is she was born and raised in a quite privileged situation. Like she goes to the other countries and study in New York and then work for the UN, and I agree with that. But what's inspiring of her is that so when we tackle the SDGs, so it's something for me, like I've seen like some of the uses that work on the SDGs, so it's being seen as a kind of like a fashion. But in her case, her experience was started in Kenya, and then there was a person who was treated as like by the police, like the person was approaching to this person, and in the city, in the middle of the city, and then but somehow like he was seen as a like trying to like steal or something from her, but he was just started starving, and then tried to get some food from her because like she was holding something, and then from that moment she thought that there was a dignity for this guy's life, and then the person was actually escaped from other country, and then being having a struggle time there, and then from that moment she had a sense of like she needs to create an action for the person. So like it's really started from her circle, and then like it's not like just for doing the action of the SDGs. She was just wanting to help the person, and then she wanted to create the world with the dignity. So now that she works for the human rights section of the UN, but she has her own like their own experience to start that job. So like it's like really she was really having the view like how the world it should be, and then how the world that she wants to create. And so that's really inspired me. Like for me, like I didn't have like, honestly, I didn't like have so much like financial problem or anything, because like I born and raised in Japan, and then thanks to the family, yes, it was quite a nice condition, but it's SDGs is not for the people who has the issues in your life, frankly. So, but like as long as you feel you want to change the world, like you can join the movement and then create your own action. And then if it's based on your experience, and then you see somebody you want to help, like you can start from there. So that's I got the learning from this story. So.
Thank you. Yeah, I really understood that each and everyone in this page, in this book, have their own story or strong life-changing experience that encourage them to pursue their own goal. So that's a very persuasive story, I thought.
Thank you.
I'm curious about the connection between this book and your SDGs goals. Or this may be a odd question, But why do you think that it is important for you or for us to pursue SDGs goals?
Why it's important?
Why is it important?
Oh, okay. So I'm not kind of like the goes back and forth between the purpose and like the personal purpose and also the society. So because this is important to change the society, because we need to change ourselves first to change society. So why it's important is, of course, like as a global goal, it will create a better world and then solve the issues from the different sectors and the different world. However, though, like for life, like when it comes to our life, we also need the reason to exist on this earth. And then that in the Japanese, there's one Japanese term called ikigai, and then it's something that makes your life worth living. So to have that, to have the ikigai, I think the SDGs helps us, our life, to pursue like how we can commit each other, and then it creates the purpose why you are here. Like it's not, yes, we are here to eat, work, and live, yes, of course, but however, like it's not, we don't just want to live in the repetitive life, but we want more, we rather want more purpose why we do it, like each of them, like why we eat, why we living that in a day, why we work. So to fulfill that, the reason, like SDGs helps us to navigate what issues and what people we can help. So it's really, yeah, it is quite big word, and also it's quite, yes, it is a global goal, but when it comes to, when we apply that to our personal life, it helps to find our own ikigai, something that makes your life worth living, I believe. So
thank you for explaining.
Mm-hmm.
After hearing the Taichi's story, as well as all the people's story, I realized that integration is very important. What I mean by integration is that social purpose and individual person's ikigai is integrated in a very beautiful way. And when this integration is very strong, it can have a very strong power to energize the person, to encourage people to move forward. And that is the pattern that I can see in you, Taichi, and all the people in this book. So that may be the integrity.
Right. Yeah, thank you for putting it into such an excellent way. Great summary. Thank you so much.
In your presentation, you talked about your vision, your dream. Would you tell us once again, what is your vision? What kind of world would you want to see?
Yes. So it's a company's vision as well, but my dream is building the world into a single school. So back in my high school, like as I mentioned, I didn't have any clue like how the future will be, even though I really studied hard to get in university. But so in that moment, if I could have our role models from all around the world, I could have more confidence about our own voice. And also like I could imagine much more options for the future. Like if I could know that there are social entrepreneurs, like the people who combine the social purpose and then business together, like that will be my role model. So once it comes to the world, it has so much drawings. Like we live in Japan, and then we meet, yes, like when I go to Tokyo, like I meet many people from different countries, but like in Fukushima, it's not really easy. And so what I wish is for the future is that anybody can have an option, like role model from all over the world. So that is what I meant by the building the world into a single school. We if we have access to like anytime, anywhere to the global learning, that we can find the ikigai, and then yes, there's something that makes your life worth living. We can live with joy. So that is my dream. Yeah.
The world full of role models. That is great.
Yeah, thank you.
And next, I would like to ask you about what is your strategy to reach that goal? I understand that publishing this book is a very important first step for you to move to that summit of the mountain. Do you have any more steps, more strategies to go to the vision? When I use the word strategy in the typical business context, it is the strategy for raising profitability or strategy to beat competitors. But in the social context, when we use the word strategy, it is a strategy for making the world better. We sometimes use the word theory of change. So I'm curious about your theory of change.
Okay, I see. That's interesting insight. So, okay. So, yeah. So I make a book as a start. So since it was quite difficult for me to give a message about why the global learning is important and what's its meaningful. After I make a book, like people start to understand. And yes, just like today, like I started invited to the seminar, and then so it was just a start. So from now on, like I create a documentary because I want to make the world visualized more and then accessible to more people.
You mean documentary film?
Documentary film, yeah, sorry. So yeah, sorry, maybe I skipped that part on the presentation. So to explain that, so I created a documentary film with Discovery Japan. And then I actually went to Nepal and then Seychelles, which is an African country, and also the Haiti, 3 countries, like last month. So the reason I'm doing that, even though like it's hard and then it quite like I'll be super occupied with that, but I wanted to see the life really is in the each country, and then what's the action and what's all the motivation behind their story. Yes, it is written in the book, but to have us more better understanding, it's better to see in the visual. So yes, I create a documentary, and then I'm seeing it to create the really global documentary. So I'm eventually I want to go to the 201 countries, and so I create these contents because again, like my business is, I call itself like entertainment and education. So for me, my strategy is that putting the education into the entertainment, since when we hear the like solving the social issues or like SDGs, like people tend to overwhelm, or like it's not like it's kind of out of the world. But like when it comes to the entertainment, people can feel related or closer, and then it really touch their heart. So this is why we also make music with Ai-san. So to get those so tackling the issue close to the people, I wanted to combine the entertainment and education. So I think that will be the answer for the strategy question.
I see, thank you. Yeah, I agree that sometimes I feel tackling social problems is enjoyable. Each social problem is really serious, but addressing those social issues is sometimes enjoyable in the sense that we can work together with other colleagues who has the same sense of mission. It is a part of joy of life, I think. And your approach really stimulates us to pursue that approach. I'm curious about your skill. obviously you have the skill as a business person, entrepreneur. What kind of skill has been important for you walking through your journey so far?
Yeah, for the audience, I had this question beforehand actually, but I've been thinking that, and I don't see myself having lots of skills or like any like very talented skill. And since I didn't go to the consulting firm or like any like something that we think that like it's really gives us skill. And actually my first career was in entertainment industry, but anyway, it's not like very business oriented. So, but somehow like I learned from my entire career and also One Young World itself, and I've been experiencing that to connect the young people's heart, entertainment was quite important, since the One Young World itself, like when we went there, like artists participates in the One Young World as well, like the singers or the professional sports players, and those people are also joined, since this really stands for what the world really looks like. Not only the politician can change the world, not only the business person, but also any people from different sectors. So this experience gave me the concept of how I can connect people and then create the movement and then betterment for the society. So it's rather, if I can say the skill is I don't know if I can call it skill, but having the curiosity. Having curiosity leads me to those experience. Like I'm curious about the world. I'm curious about entertainment company. I'm curious about how the world really living in this world. And then it brought me to these places or experiences. So being, I don't know if I don't know if it's a skill, but the curiosity, like endless curiosity, it was the key to have to be what I am today.
I see. I understand that you have a development skill, which is driven by your curiosity. So you can go to anywhere in the world, develop a new skill, finding new something. I think that you're a great entrepreneur in that sense.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I have so many questions that I want to ask, but it is endless. So
okay.
I want to pick up the questions from the audience because we have so many great questions. I would like to, I got something in a Slido.
Yes, let me also share my screen so the audience can see the questions too.
Thank you. Let me pick up from Slido first.
Yes. So here are the questions. So as you read them off, I will check them off too.
Okay, thank you. Shall we start from Daniel's question? We often think that our dream must be connected to our skills or expertise gathered over years. What skills encouraged you to challenge this education project?
Okay, skill set question. All right, let me understand. Yeah, like I don't deny the importance to connect the dream and then skill, but how do I say this? So so maybe like I would talk about the experience in the States. I had a 1-year program in the States back in college, and so the reason I went to the US was I wanted to live in other country, and also I wanted to have a skill set, because it was the decision came when I was in a sophomore, so second year, I guess, in the university. So because I wanted to have skills, like something tangible, and it's not intangible, but it's something clear because of my major was international political economy in the university. And then I thought that like, I was not sure how I can take this knowledge into the real world. So then I chose the business program in the States. And then honestly, like looking back, those two totally different like learnings that I got into two countries, and it was still can I say this? But it was not a huge difference because since because the who I was the same, because I was just curious about the business, and because I thought it's needed, and then I was curious about what's the issue is happening around the like political economy in the political economy sense, and then because I was curious. So again, it's a curiosity, but what's the skill that led me to the education specifically was the I think the again, sorry, it's not a skill, but the global experience that I got in many countries. So I think that I think the learning like in each country, it was important, but feeling these countries itself was most important for me, because these sense like the feeling the difference between the countries, and then it led me to the sense where I can feel like I can have so much learning in each country, like anywhere. So it doesn't have, so it led me to the conclusion that it doesn't have to be Japan, it doesn't have to be like somewhere specific, it can be a global. So that then the global sense for the education came to me. Then I think this is why I founded the education company, and then it led into me the education project. So if that's the
Thank
answer.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Looking back your career, I realized that your career maybe not really driven by your sense of skill, of skillfulness, but more you're driven by your one question: what can I do for making the world better? And that question was given by Ms. Yomi from North Korea, maybe.
Yeah.
So keep asking is very important thing for developing your own original path for a better future, I think.
Yeah, thank you. And then thank you again for reminding the important points. Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah.
How can we change general consumers' mindset? Few consumers money based on SDGs mindset. VCs prefer SDGs companies. I don't see many successful SDGs companies. Probably, I think this is a question not directly linked to your book or your project itself, but I think you have some sense about SDGs related business in the world. So do you have any idea or advice about how to make a good and sustainable SDGs related business?
Okay, so I'm an education person, so maybe I should bring example of others from the book. And so how can we change consumer mindset? So so I think that the Finland stories answer for this. And so I'm not sure of what level of a company Mitsunori-san is talking about, but probably the large corporates. So first of all, yeah, like there were certain struggles for huge companies because it's the SDGs, like it came from governments, and suddenly all of a sudden, and then the CXOs, they started, yeah, like let's tackle these issues, and then of course they've been thinking, but like it was all of a sudden. And however, so the Finland person and her business was the solar, the backpack with solar panel, and then so it's really the new. It was the new idea to be implemented in the in her country, and then so the idea, so the consumer change, yes, yes, I would say like it will comes from our mindset ourselves, like using it, you know, like using less plastic, like of course, like we do that. However, that the reason why this society tends to, I think that this society tends to say like, let's hear from the new generations. It's because that we need new ideas, and because these ideas create the game change, and then it changed the consumer's behavior. So I would, of course, like the consumer behavior starts from the consumer themselves, but the new idea giving them an option like we never had. So I think how can we is the creation of the new idea and then involvement with the people who creates those ideas. So which is we tend to say young people. So this is the same thing is happening in the big corporates. So the reason they start listening more on the uses in their companies and then give them opportunity to invent their new businesses. So I don't know if you heard about it, but like many corporates like start saying like that, okay, we value the young people's voice. We hear and then we get the idea from this generation. It's because of this. The consumers' behavior comes from the new ideas, and then they need a new idea from the young generation. So if that makes sense.
Thank you. The next question. Could you please elaborate on how you connect your wants to social issues? An example would be helpful. Thank you. Yes.
So
yeah, do you have any comment on that?
Yeah. So it's really the people's experience basis. However, let me to give you an example. So I went to Nepal 2 months ago, and it was about a story of a monk, and also he's a monk but also a doctor, and then he wants to change the medical situation in remote villages, since he's from the remote village, and then that village is it takes 4 days to climb up the mountain, and then it's completely just like quite a small town there, and then it's between the mountains, so it's really far away. And then he was born and raised there, and then when he was raising up, like he didn't have access to the medical he didn't have a medical access, sorry. So and also the saddest thing happened to him, and his mom passed away even though the disease was treatable, and then it happened because there was no hospital. So this is why he wants to change the village. And then so I'm not saying that like I'm saying, sorry, so everybody has their own story, and then it's not always the sad story, but it could be like a positive story. But like looking back your own like past life, there must be your own voice. And then so that's the reason of the importance of the storytelling is actually like it's for others, but also it's for yourself. Like you have better understanding of yourself, and then you have better understanding of what's the thoughts existing in your life, and then how you connect the dots to the line. And then that's how we can connect the want to the social issues. And then there must be something that happened in your past that related to the social issues, or not an issue, or the world that you want to live in. So that's how we can find it, and then that's how we can connect the wants to the problem solving.
Thank you. Some MBA students at GLOBIS tend to think that we should contribute to social issues, but it is not clearly linked to their want. They don't feel that they really want to solve those issues from the bottom of their heart. And in that case, I usually advise them to start with curiosity, just as Taichi mentioned. If you have curiosity, you go and visit the social issues as a field work. And after seeing that, you may see something, and you may find your role model, or that may change your world. In my own experience, it took place at Tohoku, actually. One of my friends used to live in Minami Sanriku, tsunami-affected area. And he told me, Yamanaka-san, please come to Minami Sanriku. Just by curiosity, it is fine. It is fine to come to tsunami-affected area with curiosity. Please come to Minami Sanriku. Then I went there. I met with many people. I met with social entrepreneurs who are trying to revive this town. And it really changed my life. I felt from the bottom of my heart that I really want to help those social entrepreneurs in Tohoku region. So that was the moment that my should and want became connected. By the way, I know that Taichi-san is also from tsunami-affected area. Does that have some influence in your journey?
Thank you for asking that. I recently asked that question as well, and yeah, and then that got me thinking. But so a little bit like a quick story. So the earthquake, it happened in 2011, and then that was when I was about to entering the university. So and then remember, it was March, so it was right before the entering to the university, and then it was still exam period. So it happened when I went to Tokyo for exam, and then it happened, then I couldn't go back to my home. And then so anyway, like that's how I encountered that the situation. And then after that, like I in using the summer vacation, I finally could go back to my hometown. Then so huge change. It's a negative change, of course. And so back then, like I was like just between the high school and the university, so I didn't came to the wars, but I reflect that moment. I thought that like society that we built like can change even in a 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So it's not that this society itself it's yes, we can create better, like we can make it strong, but somehow at some point, like it can collapse anytime. So so the supporting each other, like the idea of supporting each other is important. Because of that moment, like I felt that even if we work on the, like, let's say strong company or strong, and then we live in a strong country or anything, like it can be changed all of a sudden. So this is why supporting each other and having friends, it's quite important. So it's brought me the social conscious of the world. Yeah,
I see. Well, I tend to think that the sense of social entrepreneurship in Japan is deeply rooted in Japanese sense of mujokan. Sense of mujokan is a Buddhism concept that anything, all the things can collapse quickly, just as Taichi mentioned. And that sense of mujokan is rooted in disasters because Japan experiences disasters or earthquakes so many times. Japan is a department store of natural disasters. So that may be one of the uniqueness of Japanese social entrepreneurship, I thought. Thank you. Next question. I'm really impressed with what you do. And what is your next plan after We Have a Dream book? You already mentioned that you developed a film, documentary film. And what's next?
So yeah, next is documentary film, and then the next, there is another next actually. So for me, like connecting those young talents from all around the world, it's gathering a teacher from all around the world. So I wanted to bring these teachers into the Japanese classroom and then other countries' classroom, since what I want to achieve is the providing a global learning accessible. So I already doing the test project. It's not a test because I'm serious, but anyway, I'm doing the two schools that where I connect those leaders, I invite these leaders to the classroom, and then have a regional learning or have a leadership skill class. So it's a global leadership program, and then we do it like a 3-month term, and then the students can have a chance or opportunity to interact with the leaders from all around the world, and then they can learn from their story, and then story has a leadership, so they share their leadership learning, and then just like today. So yeah, so like I'm turning this book into textbook, and also I turning these leaders into the teacher of the class, today's classroom. So that is my another next.
I see. That is very attractive next step. Please tell us how we can help your next step after, at the end of this session, please.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
If you, so I'm trying to spread this book, but because like it's not, for me, it's not just selling a book, it's spreading the ikigai or the way of life. So however, though, I need to, I create this book thinking of my high school time. So like it was for the youth. So I want, but the youth, their learning comes from teacher. So I need to connect with teacher and then to provide this global learning tool. So helping is the introducing your friend in the school, or but not only the youth is my focus. Because they go to school and then they go back to home after all, and then they meet their parents, and then parents also need learnings. And then as long as I can provide the learning to them, I'd love to have a workshop or anything as a kensho or something. So like I do that program as well for the corporates. So yeah, if they are looking for someone like who can talk about what you heard today, I can help that. So
thank you. Yeah, I know that many companies are struggling to find how they can contribute to SDGs goals. So in that case, it is a very good idea to read the book and discuss what their company can do.
Thank you.
Thank you. I got several questions related to your struggles. What made you struggled when so far and for completing the project so far? Are there anything that constrained you, made you struggles? What was your experience, and how did you overcome that experience?
Yeah, thank you. I actually really wanted to answer this question since I heard that today we have a lot of students. So I really want to emphasize that don't lose your voice, please. I'm telling this because like I'm going to talk about before the book was created. So when I started my company, I had a vision. So building the world into a single school, like provide a global learning. But for like when I talk about it, like people's reaction, like the honest reaction was, what is it? What is it like being the earth into the one school? Like it's quite conceptual, and then it's hard to understand for others. And so at that time, like I nearly lost my confidence, because like the vision for us is like something that gives us confidence and excites us. It's something excites us, right? So, but so I thought that I need to I need to put my vision into something tangible. Then that was the book. So after the book, like people start understanding me, like understanding my concept, and understanding the world that I want to live in, and the world that I want to create. So the biggest struggle was even I had a great I thought great, and then I thought I had a clear vision, and then it's clear in your head, but there was no way to transcend that image to the other's head. So that was quite the struggle. So so I'm telling this story because like I don't want anyone to lose your hope to tell your vision. And then because the vision, it's always something unique, it's always something new, and the new thing is always hard to understand. So please stick with what you have, because you're creative, you're the new person, you're the like-minded, and then you are valuable, your idea is valuable. So don't lose that, please. And then keep telling, or like think or try to find a way to tell your vision. So yeah, please don't use our creativity, and then please stick with it.
Thank you. That's a great lesson for me. So we need to make a part of our vision tangible. Then other people start to understand.
Yeah.
Before making it something tangible, nobody would understand us. We should not stop dreaming, stop pursuing our vision still.
Yeah.
But we need to start something tangible, start with something tangible. Thank you. Well, I wanted to ask you many more questions, but for the sake of time, we need to close this session.
Yeah,
so,
sorry for answering a long time.
No. Your answer was really great.
Thank you.
So thank you once again for creating this very precious book. And thank you for sharing your precious experience with us. I really think that this word, "we have a dream," is a kind of magical sentence that fosters our oneness among people cross-border. And I really hope that we can spread this sense of oneness through this book, through your documentary film, and through your future project, so that we can accelerate our social change for the better world. So thank you very much, Taichi.
Thank you so much, too. Thank you for coming today. I hope that was interesting, and I hope there was a takeaway. And I'm really, so there's someone asked me how we can help each other, but like anytime, like please feel free to contact me. I'm happy to brainstorm like how we can collaborate, or like in any way. So please contact me, like especially on the Instagram. I'm there. So thank you so much, and then looking forward to the collaboration with you. Thank you so much.